No, man, I appreciate that, and thanks for having me on. This is all part of it. If you're not willing to do this stuff, then you should have stayed on the couch. So here we are. Let's get it going.
Heck yeah, man. Well, yeah, I guess we'll say floor is yours. What really, I know we had a little bit in the press release of what went into the decision. Obviously not an easy one. I think you laid it out perfectly in regards to it's not verbatim. I don't have it up here, but you basically said, I use forward facing. I love it as an angler. I use it. I understand. I've learned so much about it, but from a business and a content consumption standpoint for the fans, this is why I made the decision. So we'll love to kind of dive deeper more into that and what you guys did to come to this decision for 25.
Yeah. So thanks, Bailey. And I'll tell you, man, that Ken Duke actually gave me the best analogy, and I'm going to expand on it based on my last conversation I had a few minutes ago because something hit me. So let's say you live in a town, a small town, and you've got three. Sorry about that. Imagine that.
I'm sure that's been the 400th of those you gotten today.
You live in a small town and there's three ice cream shops, right? But all three ice cream shops only serve vanilla ice cream, right? And now there's an ice cream shop that comes into town and they offer chocolate. You're like, man, not everybody in town wants chocolate. Some people are perfectly content with vanilla, but now people have an option between vanilla and chocolate. Sometimes maybe they want something a little bit different, or maybe they try chocolate like, man, this is for me. I want this all the time. And that was Ken's analogy to me. And that's what we're doing here. We're offering some variety and diversity in the bass fishing market. One of the crux of the decisions points when I got to a point, you look at Champlain, St. Lawrence, and Saginaw Bay. Put silhouettes of the anglers up, take away the logos, take away the names on the jerseys. It all looks the same, right? And you can apply that mantra, go back through the season and look at the tournaments. One of the biggest kind of factors for me going into this was, man, do I have an opportunity for my business to create some divergence between myself and my competitors? I said, yes, I believe there is. Do I have a chance to maybe force a reallocation of assets with regards to sponsorship, audience, and fans? Yes, I think there are. Do I hate forward-facing sonar? Absolutely not. And simply banning forward-facing sonar or prohibiting the use of, to use Ken's words, forward-facing sonar by itself is not going to propel the NPFL to the next level. So what we've instituted is really a long-term plan to create a media monster and up the content generation, be able to promote sponsors, anglers, and our company and what we do on a day-to-day basis through our media company or through a media monster that we're trying to get up and running, or we are getting up and running. The banning of the forward-facing sonar was really our ability to create divergence and create diversity, where there are clearly people that we've seen in the comments of all the social media, however many comments it's up to now, that are for it and against it. Now the people who say, man, I just don't like watching it. I don't enjoy consuming that content, whether it's on social media, through reels, hearing anglers talk about it, or whatever. The question we had to ask ourselves, is that a business opportunity for the NPFL? Clearly, the answer that we answer that is yes. So whether you like the decision or don't like the decision, this wasn't about ostracizing young anglers. This wasn't about stymieing the innovation and technology. This wasn't about catering to the old guys who can't catch them anymore, right? This was about creating diversity and a divergence between us and our competitors that we felt like we were uniquely positioned to do because we have less influences that cause us to make those decisions, AKA there ain't no electronic companies dumping money in the NPFL. We're no worse off today sponsor-wise than we were before. Matter of factly, we have the opportunity to gain sponsorships and make ourselves more viable for companies that maybe want to be in business either A, with cause marketing and getting behind what we're doing, or B, just see a chance to get a better return on their investment with the NPFL based on our decision. So
yeah,
that's it. Next.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And the one thing that I've seen that I really want to call attention to from a comment standpoint, and we don't like to pay a lot of attention to the social media comments here on this show, but the one thing I want to make a point of is there's people out there that it didn't like that there was this decision they're not going to watch because there's not forward-facing sonar. Well, I'm curious about that. Is what did they do before forward-facing sonar was a thing? Did they not enjoy the entertainment where it's all still fishing. I mean, it's still going to be that. Now you just have a different facet of it that's not going to be included in the entertainment. But as from an angler standpoint, that's where I can understand where some guys can like from Trent Palmer's standpoint is what I'll call out here. Is I think he made a great point. Obviously, from him, it's also there's a business aspect involved in it, in regards to he doesn't want to halt technology, and I can understand that. I think if we cannot look at it from that angle of we're not trying to halt technology, but from your point, we're making a business decision here, and that's all that this is. I think it's okay. I think that's where we can add to that. But I guess from your perspective, what has been the general reception from your team and from the anglers on this move?
So from the team, we are more steadfast today that we made the right decision. And Baylor, that could change in the morning. That could change in 5 minutes. I will tell you that we have already seen, like I can tell you that we've already reaped some benefit from sponsors. As I had a phone call today we are not on contract yet, but I had a phone call. A sponsor called me and said, "Hey man, saw what you did, appreciate it. And it's not so much that we care whether you ban or keep forward facing sonar. We appreciate the fact that you guys stood up, you made a stand, you stood behind it, and you're not hiding behind a press release. You're out there talking about it. You're justifying your opinions and you're being a leader. And that's why we're calling you. And we want to be a partner with you." I'm very excited about that. I know these guys from a while back. I haven't spoken to them in a very long time, but I'm excited about the opportunity to turn the NPFL media machine loose and show these guys what we're capable of, because that's what's really going to make the difference, right? Anglers are going to come and go. Anglers are going to choose to fish. They're going to move on. They're going to go around. But the sponsors that you can have those long-term relationships with, and I'm very happy that we've got some great long-standing relationships with our sponsors, and I think this has potential to be, excuse the term, I'm going to go all eye catcher and say game changer for the NPFL.
Oh no, you said the word.
That's for my buddy Fat Cat, because he loves Fat Cat loves the game changer. So, but no, man, it's very, and it's there's some affirmation in there, right? Like when we set down this path, you don't know if this is going to work or not. Like as we walked through this, I was convinced we were making the right decision. I wasn't convinced it was going to work. I'm still not convinced it's going to work. I can tell you from the indications that I've seen in just, I don't know if it's been 48 hours yet, but everything's kind of blurry, to be honest with you, with everything that's been going on. Like my cell phone would usually keep a charge. It's pretty new. I can run about 2 or 3 days in a charge. I'm charging it twice a day now. Like I get up on a charge. I have to charge it before I go to bed at some point during the day. And that's okay. That's what this is all about. But yeah, man, I think from the team, overwhelmingly, I've had multiple conversations with Mike today. Very excited. The response on social media has been crazy, far exceeded our expectations. And from the community, I think despite the loudest 10% of the people who scream the loudest, I think it's been overwhelmingly positive. I think if you really dig in and look at, I've gotten a ton of responses from friends in the industry like, "Hey man, not sure I agree with the decision, but holy crap, I'm glad somebody made a stand. I'm glad you're being articulate and you're out there talking about what's the whys and the hows." And I think, as always, man, we always say here, sometimes it's not so important what you do, is how you do it. And I think this is just who we are and what we're about. And if you can't do this, you should probably stay on the porch. I mean, really. So that's how I feel about it. But yeah. Who am I?
I definitely respect it, man. Andy, I got 2 things left for Brad here, but you got anything you want to ask?
Yeah, I'm not off the beaten path or anything, but like in the decision making, did you think that it would be a good idea to get ahead of like the other leagues if they were to announce something, just to be like, you know what, we're going to do this first. We're going to be the ones that try it out and see what happens, and maybe make the others follow suit of what we're doing, or just to be completely different, off the wall, a different style trail from everyone else and just set your own path? Like, was that the way you were thinking when you kind of
no, man, that's a great question. I think there was an advantage to being first, right? But I will say I was fearful that in an angst to be first, that we wouldn't do our diligence and be prepared with everything and have our facts and have all the talking points and have our media package ready. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't willing to sacrifice expediting the process. Now, I will tell you that this press release was not originally scheduled to go out on a Monday. There were some decisions made and some strategies put in place based on other factors that pushed us to do it on a Monday on a holiday versus doing it on a Wednesday, or, you know, it's the holiday weekend and all the weird stuff, but it worked out. Like, it worked out really well. Like, I'm really happy with the response. I think we garnered the full attention of everybody in the fishing industry because everybody else was kind of shut down and quiet on the long holiday weekend. I think it caught some people off guard. Like, no one releases anything on a holiday Monday, right? On a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
But in true NPFL fashion, here we are. So yeah, certainly a benefit to being the first to announce it. Now, will that have a long-term effect? Based on what the other guys do, you know, I don't think it really may matter in the long run, Andrew, but certainly the upfront marketing and strategy that went along with the exposure, certainly there was a benefit there.
One of my questions for you guys is, process-wise, is this kind of go in line with live well checks type of deal when you look at the transducers and things, like in regards to policing it, or how's that going to work?
So we've actually got I've got about 6 different iterations of implementation, and we're currently polling anglers. Like, now that the decision's out there, I had my first 2 angler conversations today about, hey man, here's A through F. These are your options of implementation and how we would do it. What do you think is the best for you as far as getting your boat configured to fish an NPFL tournament? They're not going to have to de-rig their boat. We will use some sort of lockout device with a serialized tag that's assigned to that angler, and the anglers are going to install them. I'm not going out there and pulling cables off an angler's boat. They're going to be responsible, just like having operational live wells, having all their safety devices, having an operable kill switch. This piece of equipment and equipment requirement will fall on the angler to do, but it's really pretty simple, man. You pull the plug out, you slap a thing on it, you put the serial tag on it, you push it shut, and it's tamper-proof. So if you try to manipulate that in any way, and each one of them has a serial number on it.
It sounds like what the TAA did during that live scope band event, kind of, in a way, right?
Alan Brooks is kind of a genius, if you didn't know that. So, yeah.